Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. It's that time of the year again, when the nights grow colder and the shadows get a little longer. A huge thank you to all my returning subscribers. You're the heartbeat of this channel. And if you're new here, welcome to the dark side. Make sure to hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and turn on the notification bell, because you don't want to miss what's coming next. Now turn down the lights, and let's dive into the Halloween chilling story. This happened on Halloween a couple of years ago. My cousin Jack came over to spend the night. We were both 15 at the time. I know that's a little old for trick-or-treating, but hey, free candy is free candy. The plan was simple. We'd hit a few houses, grab enough candy to make it worth the effort, then head back home and relax. For the first half hour, everything was normal. The streets were busy, kids in costumes everywhere, parents following behind. Most of the houses had decorations, skeletons, lights, fake cobwebs, the works. Those houses had long lines of kids at the doors. But Jack and I noticed something. Some of the plain houses, no decorations at all, still had their porch lights on, and no kids were stopping there. We decided to try a few. And sure enough, people answered, smiling, ready with candy bowls. We thought we were clever. Quick candy, no waiting. We hit 3 or 4 houses in a row this way. Then we came to one that looked the same as the others. No decorations, just a light in the window. We walked up and knocked. The door opened instantly. An older man stood there, probably early 50s. But what froze me wasn't him. It was the 5 men standing directly behind him. All of them younger, maybe late 30s. And all of them just watching. The man smiled, held out a bowl, and dropped candy into our bags. Then, out of nowhere, he asked Jack what his name was. Jack gave him a fake one, then said, "Thanks. Happy Halloween," and stepped off the porch. I followed fast. The moment we hit the sidewalk, I felt something was wrong. Like every alarm in my head went off at once. Why were there 6 men at the door? Why were they all just standing there? Why did they feel off? Jack looked at me. I could tell he felt it too. We decided to head back toward my place. But as we walked, I glanced over my shoulder, and my stomach dropped. A car was pulling out of the driveway of that house. It started creeping down the road. Not fast, slow, just enough to stay even with us as we walked. The streets were clear. No other cars were around. No reason to be going that slow. That's when another car sped up from behind, and then slowed down too. Both of them, crawling along the road, side by side with us. I looked closer. The first driver, the older man who gave us candy. The second driver, one of the younger men standing in the doorway. And in the passenger seat of the first car, I saw the shadow of another person. Just a silhouette. My heart was hammering. This wasn't a prank. This wasn't some Halloween joke. We picked up the pace. 2 houses away from mine, the first car suddenly parked, right across the street from my house. The second car? I didn't even look to see where it went. Jack and I bolted inside. Our parents were sitting in the living room talking. They saw the panic on our faces right away. We spilled everything, from the men at the door, to the cars that followed us, to the one that parked outside. When we finished, I went to the window. The car was still there, right across the street, watching. 5 seconds later, it pulled away. Just like that. Gone. Our moms wanted us to go show our dads the house. But eventually, everyone calmed down. They told us it was just a Halloween gag, that we were letting our imaginations get the better of us. But no, I know what I saw. There were 6 men waiting at that door. They weren't handing out candy for fun. They were looking for someone. And those cars, they weren't following us for a joke. They were watching, waiting. And the scariest part? That house, the one with the 6 men, is only 1 block from mine. I grew up in a small country town. Nothing but farmland. Abandoned churches. Ugly, worn-down houses. Everyone was broke. Property taxes were next to nothing. And with that came a lot of characters. Sketchy characters. Even our neighbor. He was nice, but always a little off. We weren't well off either. But things got better once my siblings and I were old enough to work. Back then, there was this app called Hot or Not. That's how I met Kelly. We matched in late summer, started seeing each other through September. By early October, we were looking for cheap dates. Around here, there wasn't much to do. We'd gone on hikes, explored, grabbed food. That was about it. One cloudy, warm day, we decided to take a drive down a route we'd never been, just to see where it led. We found a small restaurant in a random parking lot on the side of the road. It had outdoor seating. We ate there, sat for about 45 minutes, and left. By then, the fog had rolled in. Thick, heavy, almost like a wall around the car. We kept driving. Endless fields on both sides. Occasional patches of woods. No other cars. Then we saw it. A sign. Not a big billboard. A cheap, wooden picket sign. It said, "Pumpkin picking this way," with an arrow pointing right. Behind the sign was a dirt driveway leading through a field. Through the fog, we saw a house. On impulse, we decided to check it out. Why not? I turned off the road, down the driveway. We passed the house and reached a back area surrounded by trees on two sides. There it was. A pumpkin patch. Huge. We could see at least 400 pumpkins scattered in the fog. Maybe more. We parked next to an old, beat-up pickup truck. The only other vehicle there. On the back deck of the house sat an older couple. They stood up as we got out. I told them we were there for pumpkin picking. The old woman smiled. Said, "Welcome. Pick anything you'd like." I asked how much it would cost. She said, "It's free." We were surprised. It was strange, but they seemed friendly enough. The fog made it hard to see them clearly, but I noticed the old man smile. It was gummy, almost gross, and he was staring at Kelly. We both said thank you and walked into the patch. Most of the pumpkins were small, mushy, or wet from the fog. It was hard to find a nice one. Eventually, I did. A big, healthy pumpkin. Heavy. I carried it back toward the deck. But the couple was gone. Just gone. I asked Kelly if we should leave. She said probably. We already thanked them, and they said it was free. So we got in the car. I started doing a 3-point turn on the dirt driveway. That's when we heard it. Yelling. We both jumped, turning toward the house. A middle-aged man in a cap was storming toward us, yelling, "Hey, stop." I lowered the window. He stuck his head in and yelled, "What the hell are y'all doing?" "I'm calling 911. I stammered, "What did we do?" He barked back, "Put that pumpkin back. Right now." Kelly and I tried to explain. The older couple told us to take whatever we wanted. The man's face twisted. "What older couple? What are you talking about?" "Your parents," I asked. "Are they here?" He spat. "I ain't got no parents." Kelly and I looked at each other, confused. "Sir, there was an older couple sitting on your back deck 10 minutes ago. They told us to take whatever we wanted." He shook his head. "There ain't no older couple here." He demanded to see the pumpkin. I unlocked the door. He grabbed it. "If you ever come back here," he snarled, "I'll shoot you." Then he spit on the ground and walked back to the house. I drove us out of there as fast as I could. We didn't say a word for the first few minutes. We thought maybe it was a sick joke. But who would joke like that? I half joked, "What if they were ghosts?" Kelly snapped, "Stop," clearly freaked out. Then I got chills myself. Because deep down, I'd been thinking the same thing. The car went silent. We both just stared out the windshield, lost in thought. Months later, my two siblings went to that same pumpkin farm. They actually bought a pumpkin from the man. They asked him about the place. He told them he lives there alone. Hearing that made my stomach turn. Could he have been lying about the older couple? Maybe. But why? The scarier question is, what if he wasn't lying? Then who were those people? It was October 1st. That fresh autumn breeze was in the air. Fall, my favorite season. Carter and I had just moved into our new home together. Our first fall as a couple. I wanted to surprise him. I wanted to decorate the place with fall and Halloween decorations before he got home from work. A cute, simple idea. I bought a few things from Marshall's, a few other stores, but then I hopped onto Facebook Marketplace. I typed in fall decorations. One listing caught my eye. A big green plastic container, overflowing with decorations. Everything must go. Entire container of fall-themed decorations. $20. A steal. At the bottom of the ad it said, "Selling other stuff. Clearing out house. Everything must go. Check my profile." So I clicked his profile. His name was Cody. Profile picture. A man's head wearing a gray trucker-esque cap, but his face hidden under the brim. Cover photo, a blurry lake. Everything else, private. His other listings were random. A new iPhone for $700. A few women's clothes. Christmas decorations. And more. Still, $20 for a whole bin of fall decorations? I messaged him. He replied instantly. All sorts. Tableware, outdoor decorations, etc. I told him I'd come today if he was available. He said he'd be home around 9 p.m. And he sent an address. I looked it up on Google Street View. Not the best town. But the house looked normal. 2 cars in the driveway. Lawn kept nice. I agreed, but I asked my friend Sally to come with me, just in case. We drove half an hour, caught up on life as we went. As we entered the town, Sally started half joking about how sketchy it was. I knew she wasn't just joking. By the time we got close, it was dark. Streetlights. Storefronts. Not much else. My phone buzzed. It was Cody. When you get here, you can come right in. I showed it to Sally. We both frowned. That was weird. We agreed to ring the bell anyway. We pulled up to the house. No cars in the driveway now. Dim lights glowed faintly through closed blinds. I messaged Cody. We're here. Can you come to the front? Sally and I both stared at the house. And then we saw it. The blinds. They shifted. Just a little. Someone was watching us. Then, nothing. Seconds later, the front door opened. Cody messaged me. I'm at the door. You can come in. My stomach dropped. We got out of the car slowly. Before getting too close, I called out his name. No response. Sally whispered, "We should leave." I took a step closer. Called Cody one more time. Loud this time. Nothing. I turned to Sally. Whispered, "Let's go." We started walking back to the car. Then, hey. Yes. I'm here inside. We turned. A man was at the doorway. Only half his body visible, peering around the doorframe. He waved us in. We exchanged nervous glances and walked back. As I got closer, he fully opened the door, then stepped out of view. We went up the steps, kept the front door open. Right away, a smell hit us, like cotton from an old person's house, mixed with something rotting. We heard heavy footsteps retreat into another room. Then his voice. "It's over in here. Come here." His voice was deep, too deep. I made sure Sally was right by me as we entered the next room. What we saw was bizarre. A dimly lit living room, pinkish red carpet, old, sagging furniture, and the smell, so putrid it was hard to breathe. In the middle of the room sat a red container with a green lid. Not the green container from the ad. A completely different shape. Cody stood over it. "Come open it," he said. I asked him to open it himself. He smirked. "Well, you're no fun." Sally and I began inching backward toward the door. Then he lifted the lid. Another blast of that foul smell hit us. We didn't wait. We turned and bolted for the door. We didn't look back until we were in the car. By the time the engine turned on, the house's front door was already closed. We sped off. We never saw what was in that container, but it definitely wasn't decorations. Later, I told Carter everything. He asked for the address. I told him not to go. He promised he wouldn't. The next day, he came home later than usual. He'd stopped by the house. An older woman answered the door. She insisted she lived there alone. But I showed him the Facebook messages. The address. Records list the owner as a woman in her late 60s. To this day, I can't explain it. Who was Cody? Why was that container different? And what was really inside? From now on, I'll never pick up online purchases alone. Ever.